Hello out there. My name is David Horton, and I'm proud to be one of the pastors at Gethsemane, a ministry of St. Luke's Methodist Church here in Houston. I'm talking to you from my bedroom in my home. My wife and I are trying to get our 2.5-year-old down for a nap. It's not going too well from what I hear outside my locked bedroom door right now. So please bear with me. Welcome to my home. I want to share with you just a few minutes of devotional, about 5 minutes of your time today. I'm picking up here in John chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. That's where I ended my sermon from Sunday, verse 5 of this passage. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. In this time, friends, throughout the coronavirus, I think we're called to be overcomers. We're not called to be optimists. We're called to be overcomers. And I've been thinking a lot about that today and yesterday, the difference between being an optimist and being an overcomer. It's the difference between seeing the bright side and seeing the light in the darkness. Typically, when bad things happen to somebody, or even to me, someone is really quick to jump to the optimistic perspective, right? They try to look for the silver lining. They try to look to make something good come out of all this. They try to make things sound and feel better. You know, I'm a pastor, and I get to walk with people through times of grief and loss and death. And sometimes people will say, you know, everything happens for a reason, or this was all according to a plan. And I get that. It's comforting. Those are really comforting words. What those things don't do is they don't call the darkness for what it is. It's dark, and it's hard, and it's painful. Let me tell you, the coronavirus has been really dark. It's been really hard. It's been really painful. I've trying to juggle a full-time ministry, reach out to my people, serve in whatever way I can while being quarantined, while being a full-time parent to my toddler. With my wife, who's also a pastor, it's hard. It's really hard. And I can only imagine how hard this is for you too. But what this passage is not saying is be an optimist. I said in my sermon on Sunday that there's a difference between optimism and hope. Optimism's always on the defense. When somebody pours water into a glass and you say it's half full, you're on the defense there. You're on the defense against that glass and against whoever poured that water into that glass. You are reacting to what someone or something else has done. Whereas hope is on the offense. It's light pushing back the darkness. It's going out and shining the light of Christ into this world. It's pushing back the front lines of the darkness closing in. It's on the offense. It's on the attack. And that's the difference between being an optimist and being an overcomer, I think. We're called to be overcomers and not optimists. As people of faith living through COVID-19, people who deploy the light of Christ shining within us. We're not called to look at the silver lining. We're not even called to make the best out of a bad situation. We're called to be people of hope, to be overcomers. So what I wanted to do just for a few minutes is lift up 7 ways that this is playing out in my life. These are 7 lessons I've learned from my past 9 days in quarantine. And again, these aren't silver linings for me. These are 7 ways that I'm going to live differently because of the quarantine. 7 ways that I hope to help Jesus overcome the darkness throughout this process and after the quarantine ends. So the first thing is this. My wife and I are always going to keep more meals handy. We're going to keep more food in our pantry and in our refrigerator so that we can have more food to give away. The canned goods and non-perishables are just flying off the shelves of our food pantry. We want to have more things to give away. And we want to have more things to cook here at home. We've saved a lot of money not by going out to eat, and we've had a lot of fun cooking in our kitchen. So we're going to plan on using our kitchen much more often and keeping more stuff stashed away to give away and use in a pinch. The second thing is I'm going to do better at keeping a daily routine in my life and my family's life. Yesterday, my wife and I sat down and created like a daily routine. You could even call it a curriculum for my toddler. She uses a routine or a curriculum at her school. You know, they pattern out the entire day, minute by minute, hour by hour. Why not me? I've had to do that so that I can continue being more productive and just happier while I'm stuck here at home. So I want to keep a more of a routine throughout all this and after all this is done. The third thing is I want to be more efficient with my time. Scripture says make the most of the time. I want to make the most of this time and make the most of the time after all this quarantine business ends. I have found that as a pastor, I still have the same quantity of work to do. It's just all digital and phone calls right now. But I'm finding that I'm doing it in fewer amounts of time. And that's really helpful for me. Maybe I needed this to be more efficient with my time. The fourth thing is I'm having to be more creative as a dad. I'm doing more creative things with my daughter, not just watching TV, not just looking at pictures on my phone. So for example, we are doing baby yoga in my home right now. You heard that, baby yoga. There is a YouTube channel called Cosmic Kids. Subscribe. It is baby yoga. It's 10-15 minutes of yoga for babies, and I'm doing it with her. I would have never done that if it wasn't for COVID-19. I'm doing it with her. It's a more creative kind of play, more creative kind of bonding with my child and me. The fifth thing is I'm really valuing outside time as much as I can. We have blown a lot of bubbles on my porch over the past few days, used our tree swing a lot, used our sidewalk chalk a lot. I saw a Facebook meme going around saying that, before the quarantine, everyone was stuck inside on their phones. During the quarantine, people are going outside, actually getting fresh air. Maybe it took this to get us off our phones and get us outside. I know it's taken the quarantine for me to do that. The sixth thing is I've been praying much more for the world and for other countries and for people and cultures I'll never encounter. What this coronavirus has shown me is just how connected we are. A virus that started in a city in China has affected the entire planet. This shows just how connected we are, which means our prayer needs to be more connected than it's ever been, bigger than it's ever been. I'm going to be praying for the world a lot more. And here's the last thing, friends. I think I'm a more grateful person than I've ever been. And I hope you are too. I'm really grateful for my congregation. If you're watching this, I miss you a lot. I really understand now the Apostle Paul's feelings when he's writing to his churches. You get the sense that he really misses these people. He can't get to them either because of distance or because he's in prison. He just can't see them. He can't be in close proximity with them. He can't visit them. I can't visit you, and I'm sorry. And that makes me more grateful for you. That makes me more grateful for the family I do have, the church family I do have, all that I do have. God bless you. May the peace of Christ rule in your heart, my heart, all of our hearts throughout this outbreak. Peace.